then I drank Fireball and was like, oh, not doing that again.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to episode 17 of Rime with the Frost Maiden. I am Samson Paul, and I've got the whole crew here with me. How's everyone doing tonight? Party?
Pretty good.
Hey.
Matt's drunk.
Oh,
No, he's not even close.
I've heard Matt drunk, and
Yeah.
Matt is not drunk. But in any case, glad to be back after a week absence. Looking forward to another good session of D&D. How about you guys?
I'm ready.
All right,
I'm ready to.
fantastic. Pop quiz recap. Nick, go.
Okay. Well, we covered a lot last time. Sorry, I've got Scooby snacks in my mouth. Let's see. Last time we played was on February 17th. So that was about 3 weeks ago. And what did we do? We found out a lot about Carcass. And we found out about his town of Kothas. Mountain ridge called the Sunset Mountains, close to Cormyr. He claimed that his ship had crashed alongside these mountains into the Archon Ridgeline.
All right.
Yeah, so, well, there's that. I mean, I'm looking at my notes that I wrote in my journal here.
You're good.
So-
You're good. Popcorn. Matt.
We killed things.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, the greatest thing about last session was the double resistance.
No.
Hands down, the best thing ever.
False.
Okay, Popcorn Eclipse. What was the worst thing about the session?
Turning into Zizix and having to do his Zizix voice.
I
That sounds
loved it.
great to me.
No.
Popcorn, Brian.
I talked to the animals.
All right. Let's see. What else? What else happened the last session? We
killed a bunch of goblins and found the missing cargo for Markham.
absolutely. You guys met the two polar bears and released them, and allowed them to execute the remaining goblins that were in the carriage.
Yeah, the Randy Savage pool bear.
I'm in love with those polar bears.
Oh man, those polar bears are never returning after the amount of strain that my voice had the next day. Popcorn Miranda.
The best thing about last session was when Eclipse had to turn into Zizix and do his voice.
Yeah, you know what? I think Eclipse is the only one who disagrees with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the party consensus is that was awesome.
And well, in addition to that, you guys determined that this shipment was headed towards the Dwarven Valley, just southwest of Kelvin's Cairn. And you guys were deciding at the moment which way to go. I believe Vega had volunteered himself to prioritize much of the hauling by shapeshifting into an ox, I believe it was.
Indeed.
And I believe that is actually where we are going to pick up. Just in the wilderness, surrounded by snow. There's no ongoing storms or anything of that nature. It looks, it's mild. It's very cold. It's extremely cold. But we're not in midst of a blizzard or anything of that sort. And we'll pick up with you guys determining which direction to go and how to proceed. You see around you the remains of the carriage with the polar bears having walked off into the sunset hours ago, it seems like at this point. Long gone these polar bears are. And you look towards the west and a little bit to the north, and You see the Dwarven Valley is far ahead. You see Kelvin's Cairn more clearly than you would the valley. And you take some time to investigate the shipment, and you find this bag, which seems to be makes a click-clack kind of sound when you maneuver it, and then you see just piles of iron ingot, a little bit of snack foods and rations packed on. So what would you guys like to do?
Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but Carcass had agreed to help me haul the thing, right?
Yeah, that is correct. You were transforming into an ox, and Carcass and you in ox form were going to haul off this cart.
Well then, I say unless anyone is opposed, we get started and head towards the town.
All right. So I would like someone to make a survival check to harness the animals, the ox and Carcass, to the cart. Whoever is going to take charge on that, please do so now. Zizix looks like he's taking the bait.
Andy will prepare to lend a hand if needed by Vega and Carcass.
Okay, with the 14, you get the harnesses set up correctly to compensate for one four-legged animal, and then Carcass pulling with all of his might. And you think you do a good job, as you would. And onward, I assume?
Yeah.
Who's leading the direction?
I would suggest Zizix.
What'd you say?
I would suggest not Zizix.
Andy will do it.
Okay. Make your survival check.
That awkward moment when you forgot to pull up Roll 20 or D&D Beyond.
D&D Beyond, brought to you by. Please sponsor us.
Sorry, my page is loading. Okay, sorry, survival check?
Yes.
Okay, that is a 9 total.
Okay. You start heading off towards the Dwarven Valley. Takes a little bit more time than you anticipated, but slowly but surely you see that you've veered off course. Just, by I think they call them minutes on the compass. I'm not entirely sure. But just degrees of the incorrect angle. So you probably have to backtrack about 30 minutes worth of time before you start approaching what looks like a very secluded, small little town that probably comprises of about 3 buildings max. But then you kind of take a lay of the land, and you see that there is some sort of mine that kind of descends down, and you see the remnants of dwarven mine shafts, and all these buildings are made of very well-cut stone. But you don't see a whole lot of activity on the front.
Well, I guess we just keep moving forward. So we can... Sorry, what?
I was going to ask, what time is it getting to be at this point?
It is fairly dark at this point. You guys only have about 4 hours of sun through the day, and you spent most of it actually tracking down the the caravan.
How much longer?
You're about
Do you
30
think-
minutes outside of town. Or do
Okay.
you mean how long until the sun rises?
Thanks to the first question. That's
Okay.
Yeah, we got half an hour to go. Let's keep trucking along.
Yeah, at this point, I'd like to make the ox and carcass make a individual strength checks. And of course, the druid can utilize the ox stats for that.
Is it 24 for Carcass?
Even with my amazing ox strength, I got a 10.
Well, that's all right, because Carcass seems to be doing most of the pulling, and you guys are able to get enough help from even individuals in the back that are kind of pushing along, be able to continue forward. So, as you approach, you see that there is literally no movement inside of this town. You see through the windows that are still dark and dim, they seem to be covered with cobwebs on the inside. It almost looks like it's been pretty barren for a while. You see like these areas where there are obviously plots for farm work and growing and grain and wheat, but it looks like the tools have been stagnant for quite a while.
That's what I was thinking.
Do we know of any other towns around here that this might have been going to? If not here?
Andy's gonna, I guess, like look around and see if maybe there are any indicators of a nearby city.
Go
town?
ahead and make a perception check. Or investigation. Either one works for me.
Well, my perception is 7 total.
Okay, so you don't see anything from the glances around, but if you would like to roll investigation, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, I guess she'll just keep looking and do the investigation because she's gonna keep trying to figure it out. Oh, it's a little better. It's a 12.
So you kind of take a walk around town, and then you start to notice that you don't see any cobwebs around the mine area.
Okay, so Andy's gonna go back to the others and say, hey, looks like maybe there's still activity in the mine. I don't see all of these, like, cobwebs and such around there. Maybe they went underground for some reason? To keep warm, perhaps?
The ox will nod.
Andy kind of smirks and says, well, he's on my team.
Really, that's a pretty astute observation.
Shall we check it out?
The ox will nod.
All right, and she'll lead the way towards the mine.
I'll be right behind you.
All right. Start making your way towards the mine entrance, and you start hearing the trace sounds coming from within. You hear voices. One obviously deep dwarven voice, and then another one you can't really articulate what it is as you start to draw closer. But you see that as you come to the entrance of the cave, you see that the minecart track starts to veer to the right, and you start to see the flickers of light coming from inside.
Yeah, it looks like this is it.
Yep.
Andy's gonna quiet down and kind of listen, see if she can hear any, like, voices from within to make sure it's, the dwarves and not others, like, yetis or some such shit.
Sure. Go ahead and make another perception check.
Okay.
I would like to investigate the ground, see if there's any fresh footprints in the snow leading to the cave.
Okay.
I got a 22 on that perception check.
While the voices are sort of distorted from the echoing inside and within, you make out the dwarf speaking in Dwarven. Do you speak Dwarvish?
I'm pretty sure I do. Yes, I do.
You hear the voice from within saying, no entry! You cannot enter this. You do not have permission. How many times do I have to tell you?
And is that directed at us?
Being that you don't have anyone in eyesight, and with it being fairly lit within the cave, you don't think that's the case.
Okay, well, Andy is just going to kind of hold her hands out to the rest of the group just in case and say in Dwarvish, hello, we have a shipment for you.
And then, Lysander, you wanted to check for footprints. Go ahead and roll survival for that.
Okay. That's an 18.
So you detect humanoid footprints that are very fresh, that did not originate from the party. They don't look dwarvish in nature, they look full-grown humanoid.
Noted.
So, as you call out, it seems like that your verbiage, your words are not met with any response whatsoever, as the argument seems to have continued.
Andy kind of sighs and says, I'm going to go let them know they have a shipment out here. It's definitely Dwarvish that I'm hearing down there, so I'll just let them know we're here. And she starts walking forward to go and speak to whoever it is that's bitching.
Okay. And as you make your way down, is anyone going with her, or were you going to all stay up?
Yeah, I would go with her.
Okay. So, as you start to descend into the mines, you start to see that the walls are very smooth here. Almost look like it's been intentionally cut and shaped. But then you see a very small dwarf that seems to be crossing his arms and standing in front of a doorway, and in front of them you see this elf, from the looks of it, carrying a large wooden staff with a red orb, and he seems to be pleading for entry, and the dwarf reinforces that without permission you may not enter here. Andy, would you like to retort?
Look, friend, I just need somewhere to shelter for the night. Surely there's some kind of nook or cranny I could just stay in for a little while.
My friend, we do not know you, and we do not trust you. These are dangerous times, and we cannot take any more people of shelter, because even if you were to offer to pay for us, we don't have enough food to feed everybody as it is. We have to look out for our own.
I could be quite an asset, friend. I can do other things beyond pay. I'd be someone you might want to have as an ally, for instance.
The dwarf has enough allies as it are. But you can go ahead and make a persuasion check to see if you can try to swindle your way in with a little extra convincing.
Sigh, but a 9.
It seems like the dwarf is being steadfast, and Andy and Lysander, you see this discussion happening as you start to descend closer down.
And Andy's going to speak up in Dwarvish and say, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt your business, but we have a shipment for you.
Shipment? Of what?
Did we open the shipment last week? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, I know there was a bunch of like metals and stuff in
bronze
it. Ingots.
ingots and silver ingots.
She'll say it looks like metal ingots, that sort of thing. Apparently, the shipment was supposed to be here sooner and was delayed, but we obtained it.
Oh, I thought it was lost for good. Bring it down, thank you.
Andy will nod and say, certainly. And she kind of eyes the...
Excuse me, fellow travelers. Where might you be headed?
Is he speaking Dwarvish still, or Common, or Elvish?
I believe Lek is speaking in common towards you.
Okay. And you asked where we were headed? Sorry, I forgot, because I had to ask that.
Yes, that's what I asked.
Who's asking?
My name is Lek, and I am seeking shelter for the evening. Perhaps I might find it with you?
Andy kind of glances over her shoulder towards the rest of the group.
Which is just Lysander at this point.
Just Lysander, because they went down together. She's gonna look at Lysander and then kind of glance back at Lek and say,
Before you speak, you take in what Lek looks like, and Andy, if you would like to describe your character, you can do so now.
But of course. So while you can tell he's elf, or at least half elf by the point in his ears, what really draws most of the attention about him is his eyes, or perhaps more precisely, his eye. While one eye is a piercing green on the background of very fair white skin and very fair, almost white blonde hair cascading past his shoulders, you notice the other eye. It isn't an eye at all, but more so this orb, this glowing orb that almost takes up the entire socket and just kind of is unnerving to look at.
Andy will, her gaze will kind of linger on that glowing orb in place of an eye for a moment, and then she will pull her gaze away and fix it on Lysander and say, thoughts?
Well, truth be told, we're kind of looking for shelter too.
Well, perhaps I might tarry along with you?
What can you tell me about your friend?
Oh, I just arrived at these parts fairly recently, and I must admit I'm a bit ill-prepared for the cold. But I would love to tell you more about me if you would but share shelter and perhaps a fire and a meal with me.
I'm sure we could manage that.
I think we could accommodate.
Excellent.
Well, let's go bring this shipment down, and perhaps we can persuade these dwarves to maybe give us shelter for the night.
Good luck with that.
Andy does and starts following Lysander up to unload the shipment.
While we're going up there, I'm going to turn to Andy and say, huh? No, Andy. Miranda's Andy.
This is gonna get confusing.
Clara was trying to correct me.
You gotta rename Miranda's character. That's
Yep. No choice.
Anyway, I'm going to turn to Miranda's character, Andy, Mirandy, if you will.
Oh my god, no!
oh, canon.
I object.
I
And I'm going to say I might have I might have a connection here that possibly owes me a favor.
Oh, well, that would be helpful, especially if they are not particularly willing to offer shelter.
We shall see. Let's get this shipment down and find out.
Does someone have a saber-toothed tiger in their house? Because that was hilarious.
Ah, that
Pretty
was
sure that was a
silly.
Billy Belch.
Yeah,
I
it
know
sure
a
was.
Billy Belch.
You called it.
Yeah, you're all welcome.
Oh,
Didn't mean for the mic to pick that up, but
that's all right.
Just can't
Oh,
help the
Feels
resonant baritone of your own voice.
all right. So you guys make your way back to the party, and I assume Vega is still in ox form at this point.
The ox will nod.
So you reach the top of the cavern, and you see Zizix and Eclipse waiting with Carcass and Vega at the shipment.
Andy will say, we're clear to bring it down.
All right. Those who are moving, please make a strength check, as you guys are not gliding on padded snow anymore, but rocks and a rail. Minecart.
That's an 18 for the ox.
Very good.
That is only a 9 for the carcass.
So having 4 legs is helping out a little bit more in regards to the control of the shipment down on the incline, whereas you're not losing control of it and it's not rolling ahead of you and all that stuff. So you do a good job bringing it down safely and securely. And eventually the group comes down to this stone wall, and you see the dwarf and Lex. Sorry, I just had a notification on my hard drive pop up. Looking up at the party as you guys descend down. Dwarf looks up and he says, very good. And he gives 2 knocks on the wall and says, open it up. And this smaller wall is apparently attached to a a splitting gate, as it were. And the gates kind of open up, and inside it reveals a city. You count maybe 12 to 15 different buildings that have been actually carved into the stone. And you see the lights illuminated and lighting up the inside of this dark cavern. And you see there's a lot of activity down here. You see dwarves roaming around, going in and out of their homes, carrying tools, all that kind of good stuff.
And is the dwarf that I spoke to, is he close enough to talk to again?
Yes.
Andy will ask him, where would you like us to put these things?
He says, take it down to the blacksmith. That's where he's going to. That's where the shipment was headed.
She'll nod, and I assume he points or something.
Yes, he points
Okay,
in the
she'll
direction.
Lead the way in that direction.
And as the party starts to move the shipment inwards, you catch the gaze of Lek, and the dwarf says, as Andy starts to pass by, "Is he with you?"
Yes, he is.
You get a free pass. But you lot don't stay for long, please.
Sure thing. Thank you.
I smirk.
And you start to make your way down this cavernous path that has been smoothly paved over, essentially, and carved smooth. And you make your way to the clinging and the clanging of metal, and eventually you make your way to the blacksmith there.
On the way, Andy is going to kind of fall back enough to fall into stride next to Lek, and she's going to say, I vouched for you. Don't make me regret it.
Don't worry. You have my word. I won't ruin this for you.
Andy will nod and say, excellent, and proceed.
All right. You make your way to the blacksmith, and you start to unhitch the ox from the sled. And Carcass, are you putting down the rope?
Yes, I will put the rope down.
And you find yourselves in front of the blacksmith, who's going inside, or what would you guys like to do at this point?
I suppose we'll be going in and delivering the goods.
You guys enter, and this blacksmith is very active at the moment. He looks like he's head to toe just covered in black soot. The lack of air exiting, a lack of a chimney going up to the top, seems to have created this kind of thick cloud of smog and inside of this area. And he hears the footsteps, and he looks behind him and says, "Oh, I wasn't expecting anyone."
Andy will say in Dwarvish, hello, we've brought your shipment.
My shipment, can you remind me?
Ingots, metal, that sort of thing. I'm not sure if it's all here. It was some goblins absconded with it, but we've recovered what they had and brought it to you.
Oh, well, why didn't you say so? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, I trust your payments has already been taken care of. You obviously were not the original couriers of this.
I don't remember, out of character.
Does anyone?
Above table, I can tell you. Markham is supposed to pay us once we recover it, but he hasn't paid us yet.
Thanks. Is that okay for Andy to remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. She'll say, the sheriff, Markham, he plans to pay us when we successfully deliver the shipment. So it's not for you to worry about.
Oh, thank goodness. Things are pretty tight around here, and we have to rely on these goods to try to convince other townships to lend us their food.
Well, I hope they serve you well.
Thank you, and it will.
I'm gonna nudge Mirandy, and I'm gonna ask him if he knows Derek Battlehorn.
Andy will do that. She'll say, ask the blacksmith, do you know a Derek Battlehorn?
I know him. He runs the tavern here.
Oh, could you point us in that direction?
Sure, you just passed it 2 doors down as you came in.
Great, thank you. And she will turn and relay that to Lysander and say it's 2 doors down. We just passed it. He's at the tavern.
Very good. I'm sure everyone here could use a meal and a drink.
Alright, so you guys about facing and heading out, or you want to do anything else?
I'm hungry and cold. The tavern sounds delightful.
I guess if we have put the shipment where we're going to be leaving it, I can change back into myself.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will probably bring up that we might want to bring some we might want to have him write us something to bring Markham to show that we delivered the shipment.
Right.
That sounds reasonable. Yes.
And the dwarf, he overhears this, and he says, "Oh, right. I can give you a receipt of shipment, and give me a moment." And he starts to head back upstairs, and you hear a little bit of banging and clanging coming on from upstairs, and a few expletives as it seems like he might have tripped over something, and takes about 5 minutes or so to come back down. Does anyone want to do anything within those 5 minutes?
I'm good.
Nah.
Okay.
Andy will be keeping an eye on Lek, though, since she vouched for him.
All right, very good.
I'm casually leaning against the wall.
All right. And the dwarf comes back down, and he hands a note over to Andy that reads, "Shipment received on this date, and no compensation was given." That'll do you.
Very good.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I can hold on to it. That's fine. I've been the one talking to Markham about this job, so it'll make sense if I give it to him.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So, where to?
To the tavern then.
Aye.
Sure.
Tavern.
Yes, the tavern.
You guys make your way outside of the blacksmith and turn to your right to head back the way you came, and you see the leaky anvil up ahead. And you enter, and you find that it's pretty barren inside. There's not a whole lot going on. Patrons are not here. There's just the bartender standing at the bar. He's actually asleep.
Andy is going to kind of pause and stand near Vega and say, "Aren't anvils solid metal?" As she's staring at the sign to the tavern.
Yeah, I was wondering how an anvil would leak myself, but that's okay.
And with
She shrugs.
that conversation, you hear a voice. The bartender kind of shifts awake, and he says, "It depends on how hot the anvil is."
Andy kind of makes a touche-looking face and nods and smiles at him.
Yeah,
Fair point.
As does Vega.
Yeah, I was gonna say, metal can sweat too.
Well.
Anyway,
You would know, metal one.
indeed I would. Is this Derek Battlehorn?
And you get a look at him, and it is indeed Derek Battlehorn.
Well, hello.
Ah, good to see you again.
Likewise, friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I imagined I would have to come and get you at the gates. We aren't allowing anyone in. What, how did you enter?
Well, we happen to have a shipment that your blacksmith was in need of.
Oh, very good. Well, sit down, stay for a pint.
Be happy to. Thank you.
And Derek starts to go over to a couple of barrels, and he kind of gives them a shake, and he shakes over 1, 2, and he says, "Oh, this is the one." And he breaks open a new cask and dips a bunch of mugs into the beer, it looks like, and sits them on the counter for each of you. He says, "So, tell me your story. Where you headed? Where you from?"
We have to go back to Brinshander now, yeah, to tell Markham that we found and recovered the shipment.
Right.
Ah, I see.
Well, yeah.
We could kind of use a place to stay for the night before we head back, though. Do you know any way we might be able to make that happen?
Well, I don't have much in the way of breakfast come morning, but we've been low on mead and alcohol for a bit, except for my private cask here that I promised you access to. I don't see why you can't sleep here in the lobby.
We would greatly appreciate that.
We would be happy to take it, friend. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. And he kind of looks over at the half-elf of the group and he says, "Oi, how come you ain't got no heavy clothing?"
Ah, well, good sir, I wasn't planning on coming this way, but, well, something came up, I guess.
How's that happen?
Well, let's just say, in a world of magic, you can be one place and then another more quickly than you might have thought.
Ah, I see. Magical then, huh? And, you didn't mean to come here, why don't you just leave?
Ah, but I did come with a purpose. I do have a task to accomplish while I'm in these parts, and, well, I'd like to get it done swiftly in return, believe me, good sir.
I see. And you, Lysander. We didn't have time to talk the other day. But how exactly did you come to be? And he starts to make his way over to you and kind of motions to kind of try to inspect your arm and all that.
It's a very long story.
Well, perhaps you'll write a book about it and I'll read it myself.
Mayhaps.
And
It didn't always used to be this way.
we all change in one form or another, but if that's the case for you, you had a very drastic change, friend.
Yes, one hell of a metamorphosis.
Lex scoots closer to here.
And
If you would call it that.
You know what? So does Vega.
Andy just
For
watches
you.
Leg.
Lucky for you, Vega, you get to change back.
Eclipse does like the shifty eyes, and she like nervously like sips from her mug.
Yeah, I don't get to change into anything metal, though.
Yeah. I long for flesh and blood again.
Well, someday, friend, I'd love to hear what sounds like a hell of a tale you have to tell.
And the dwarf kind of says, "Well, I didn't mean to bring down the mood, but I'm sure your story's very interesting, friend."
No, it didn't bring down my mood at all.
Well, that's good to hear.
He doesn't have.
In fact, and I raise the glass to him and a cheers to say, "You've done quite well in lifting my spirits. Thank you."
Well, that's why I opened this place in the beginning. Not particularly for you, but for others. You know what I mean.
Yes, friend, I follow.
And he takes a look over at Carcass and he says, "The stout one you are."
Oh, okay. And I will look at Zizix and say, what does stout mean?
He means, friendly.
Oh, yes, I am very stout. Thank you for noticing.
Of course, it's hard not to notice. And he looks around Carcass and he sees Zizix. He says, "Ah, a mountain halfling, huh? Or a mountain gnome, eh?"
What's it to you?
No reason. Just an observation.
Well, I'm actually a rock gnome. Those mountain gnomes are...
Tomato,
Frustrating.
tomato. The same ballpark. I apologize.
All right, Doc Dwarf.
Oh boy. What did I do? And he makes his way over to Vega and he says, I haven't seen the Loxodon in very many years. How'd you get all the way up here?
You know, just found myself over in Goodmead, and it was too great to leave. You know.
Goodmead. You're from Goodmead?
As of recent, yeah.
Can you tell me why they stopped trading with us? We've been waiting on our mead for months, it feels like.
We've been wondering about that ourselves, and I am hoping that is the next thing we investigate after we get word of the shipment back to Markham.
Ah, very good. That would be doing me 2 favors in the span of a 10-day. You have been proven to be most helpful to us, if you can follow through with that.
Well, we try.
And so you guys begin to partake in the drinks and telling stories. And is there any story in particular that you guys wanted to share during this period before you start to set up for resting?
I would like to know a bit about our newfound friend Lek.
I'm sure plenty of stories.
Well, I suppose I'll give you the brief version. You know, if you hadn't noted, I'm not actually a full elf. I'm a half-elf. My mother, she was a human. And as many half-elves, I was a bit of a ambassador, brokering peace, negotiating, all the like. Until one day because of that very profession, my mother died. And it made me realize that doing work for other people tends to take away from what you can do for yourself. And I was tired of...
This is gonna go up to you in the middle of this and just keep looking you up and down with his monocle, trying to figure out exactly what you are.
Lek looks right back at him and continues talking. But anyways,
Andy, you might have doubled on the push to talk. It cut you off on the anyways.
Oh, yes, there we go. Anyways, let's just say after a bit of a walkabout around Baldur's Gate, I discovered my purpose and a new lease on life, if you will. And now I don't think there's any time to waste. And I want to make the most of the time that I have left.
So, what is this purpose that you mentioned?
Well, I suppose my purpose is my own. Not to sound as if I'm trying to be secretive or mysterious, but my purpose simply is that. I have to do what's best for me. And since I've wasted so much of my life trying to help others for little gain to myself, I want to spend the next portion of my life and perhaps beyond doing what's best for me. And right now it's pursuing, to a degree, magic and how that can further benefit me. Simply put.
Andy kind of looks. She furrows her brow at this, but she doesn't comment on it. She looks just slightly perturbed by his assessment of doing unto others and doing for himself. But instead of mentioning it, she says, "You said you had business to take care of while you're here. What is the business? Is it something that perhaps is on our way?"
Well, I suppose it wouldn't come as a surprise to you if I told you I'm looking for any magical artifacts I can find. And I have good intel that there are some around here.
Zizix will pipe up and say, "What kind of magical artifacts?"
Let's just say I'll know them when I see them, my curious little friend.
As will I, but for brevity, what kind of magical artifacts?
I think you're fishing for something.
I mean, I'm always fishing. I'm inquisitive.
Good to know. Good to know. But, for now, I'd rather keep that card to my chest.
Andy's just listening now, and she kind of furrows her brow and glances towards Vega.
Upon seeing this, I'll just kind of raise my eyebrow as to be like, yeah, I don't know.
But enough about me. What brings this very unique ensemble out to these parts?
Helping people.
Oh, how noble.
We try to be, I suppose.
No. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's not like we were doing it entirely for free, so it's not the most noble thing in the world, but we try to find ways that we can help and make a little coin.
Of course. We all do what we must do. I understand that. In fact, I'm not that much different from you. In the same way, I must do for others in order to do for myself as well. It's much the same, if you ask me.
That's one way of looking at it.
Ah, well, you seem suspicious, good sir.
No, not suspicious at all. I just hadn't really looked at it that way before.
Huh. Very good. I'm happy to enlighten.
Well, given the fact that if we hadn't found Mr. Battlehorn's friend's axe on the mountain of Kaer-Kelvin. Kaer-Kelvin, thank you. We wouldn't have been in his favor to stay here tonight.
A favor for which I am most grateful to you for allowing me to join you.
But of course.
In fact, I don't like to let any debt remain unpaid. If there's anything I can do for you or help I can offer you, I would be more than happy to do so.
Nothing comes to mind at the moment, but the gesture is noted and appreciated.
Very good. Well, I'll be sticking around for the time being anyway, so I'm sure we'll find something.
I'm sure we will.
All right.
Lek takes an extra long swig of his mead.
Very good. And time passes as you guys are inside and you hear the sounds from this underground valley start to peter out, and the sounds of bats flapping around overhead and the very high-pitched screeching noises start to take hold as they start to be more active. It gets into the heart of night. Everyone starts to head to sleep. Derek says, well, it was a pleasure listening to all of your stories and getting to know you all a little bit better. I'm going to head to bed myself, so I apologize ahead of time for not having the breakfast available for you to be able to provide and feed, but I hope this will be sufficient to give a little bit of protection from the cold.
Shelter is plenty, thank you.
Indeed, thank you.
Have a good night, friends.
You as well.
Derek starts to head upstairs. Is anyone wanting to keep watch while you guys sleep, or are you guys just content with resting in this safe tavern that is has a locked door on it?
I'm keeping watch.
Okay. Who would be the first two on watch?
I could stay up with you if you would like the company.
I doubt it's necessary, but you're welcome to.
Well, we may not have to keep watch. Seems like they look after their own pretty well here, and I'll be up all night if you'd like to get some rest.
Andy considers that point and then concedes and says, right, I forget. And she will go to sleep and trust him with that.
Zizix is going to command Ollie to stay up and take watch with everyone.
Sounds good. All right. So everyone starts to retreat into their bedrolls that I believe everyone has, and starts to settle in for the night. It's very quiet, very warm. Seems that this underground dwelling just harbors the heat, and being 2 doors down from a furnace probably helps provide that. So as you sit and you watch, Lysander, is there anything in particular that you're looking out for?
I'm just gonna keep an eye outside to see if anybody tries to come in. I'll also be keeping an eye on our new friend that has come in.
Okay. You and Ollie sit together while kind of scanning around and just keeping an eye on things and taking in the ambiance of this underground valley. Throughout the watch, you notice that Lek, so Lek, you technically meditate, right, as a half-elf?
Well, yes. I do sleep. But you know, I do sleep, to clarify. At one point I had no sleep, then I changed my mind later on, so I do sleep.
Okay, very good.
If that's what you're asking.
Yes. All right. So, your watch goes by very calmly. It's very peaceful in here, and you start to hear the high-pitched noises of the bats start to fade into the opening and closing of doors, and the sounds of feet hitting the pavement outside. You start to notice that people are stirring again, and your watch is over.
Yeah, I guess there wouldn't be any sunlight down here.
No,
I'm sure
not.
that system to know when to wake up.
Yep, just going off of activities, the best you got.
I'll wait for Derek to come down before I wake anybody up.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
That's a 19.
So you actually catch the audible sound of the door opening upstairs, and you see Derek kind of peeking down over the railing and seeing that everyone's still asleep, and kind of retreats back into his room.
Okay. I'm going to keep an eye on where he peeked over in case he comes back out, or see if I can hear anything else.
Yeah, with that roll, you're going to be able to hear the ongoings of stuff going on upstairs. A bit of rustling about and things being slid across the floor. General activity noises. About 30 minutes go by, and he kind of opens his door and looks over again and takes a little bit of a longer look at everybody.
I'm gonna watch him watching us.
And he looks down at you and he says, "Ah, are you awake?"
I'm always awake. I never sleep.
"Oh, I just didn't want to disturb anybody."
I look around to see everybody's still snoozing. They say, I think that you're good, friend.
Well, seems like the town's waking up. So you might have maybe another 30 minutes before you hit daylight, but if you wanted to make use of your time in the light, best bet would be getting ready to leave now.
Well, thank you for that information. I tip my hat to him. I go start waking everybody up.
All right. And everybody gets awoken by Lysander, including Lek. So what would you guys like to do as you're all awake?
I will tell everybody, Derek Battlehorn says that we have probably half an hour before the sun rises, so be good to make the best use of our light while we can. Let's say we head out.
Well, yeah, sounds good to me.
Let's rock and roll.
Eh.
I don't like that noise. All right. Carcass, Zizix, you have anything to input here?
Give me 5 minutes. I just need to whip something up real quick.
All right. And
While
ahead.
he does that, I would like to stare very intently at the new person.
I stare back.
Does his stare look like a mean stare?
that is for him to answer.
I wouldn't say it's a mean stare, unless you're looking at the red orb eye, but that just stays the way it is. It's more of a curious stare, I guess.
Is your red eye worth anything?
Let's just say it's worth my loyalty.
Oh, I don't know how much that money that is.
It's only valuable to the right people, friend.
Do I overhear this conversation?
Yeah, I don't imagine Carcass is being very quiet.
No, I'm not subtle.
Yeah. So I'm gonna walk up to Carcass and tell him, remember how you said that you didn't think that you could spend respect?
I do not remember this, but okay, I believe you.
Well, we just got a night in, and we got shelter, and a night full of his finest mead. That is how you spend respect.
Oh,
Sometimes it can be more valuable than money.
okay. I don't. Money is very nice though, because you can buy a lot of food with money.
This is true.
Yes, and Carcass is very hungry.
Andy will produce a ration from her bag and give it to Carcass.
And I will happily eat this, but I will continue to stare at the new person's eye.
All right. So I take it Zizix at this time is done whipping up his alchemy gear and making new potions.
He's gonna go ahead and try and make another one. He's gonna make 2.
Okay, very good. And during this time, everyone's getting all their breakfast in, eating their rations if they have them, and sharing if necessary. Some time passes, and it's probably about 20 minutes after the 30-minute warning that Derek gave that you guys just about wrap up with breakfast. What would you guys like to do?
I'd like to. Oh, sorry. I was going to say I would be consulting my map to see where the best path to get to Bryn Shander is from here.
All right. Someone else wanted to say something?
I was just gonna say I'd probably suggest that we find Derek to say our thank yous and our goodbyes, so we can get on the road.
Yeah. So as you guys are eating breakfast, Derek comes down and he pulls out a very old-looking bunch of turnips. Looks like they've been sitting for a while, and he bites into them and enjoys it. His breakfast. He kind of eats along with you guys.
Right on. Then whenever Lysander's done consulting his map, I think we should say our thank yous and our goodbyes.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right. So Lysander, with you studying the map, you see that your area is southwest of Kelvin's Cairn, and you see that it's kind of the midway point between Bryn Shander and Cairdenavall. So you can either go through the wilderness and the unplowed terrain to get to Bryn Shander, or you can cut back to Cairdenavall and go along the roads, which would take about double the amount of time. So that choice is left up to you.
I'm gonna relay that information to the party and say, and show them the map. Say, okay, we could cut through here, show them through the wilderness, and cut our time in half, or we can go back through Caradenneval and add an extra day or so to our trip.
Lek addresses the group. Do you mind if I travel with you?
Are you heading to Bryn Shander?
Sounds as good a place as any to go right now to me.
Then I don't see why not.
In that case, if you don't mind my input, I'm always a fan of a good shortcut.
You know what? I actually have to agree with the guy. I think I'm down to cut through the wilderness if it shaves that much time off. We might want to find him something warmer to wear before we do that, though.
Yeah, definitely. I was just about to say we should probably purchase you some warmer clothes. Do you have money?
Yes, I have a little bit of currency.
Well, anything you don't have, we can probably help you with.
Zizix is going to pop up and say, take this.
What is this?
Just a little something, something.
You want me to drink this when I don't even know what it is?
Trust has to be started somewhere.
Well, I suppose that is only fair. Very well. Okay, I lift it to my lips and down it in one shot.
All right, what concoction have you given him?
He has a +1 bonus to AC for 10 minutes.
Okay. Duly noted.
Interesting.
Oh, I feel very sturdy. Thank you, good sir.
How else do you feel?
Well,
Angry? Maybe sad?
no, I don't know that I feel any of those things. I just feel sturdy.
Interesting. Zizix will start writing down in his little notebook.
Andy then looks at Zizix and said, "Did you not know what that would do?"
Of course he did.
Of course I did.
I want to. Can I do a what kind of insight check on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And then Zizix, you can do persuasion or deception, depending on your intent.
Well, should I do like a kind of an in check to see if I actually did know what the person was?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. That was off of the wild magic table.
No, it was the regular table.
Oh, gotcha.
So 17 on if I did know what it was.
So you would.
So would I really need persuasion or deception at that point?
No. Andy, with the insight check, you kind of feel like he's telling the truth.
She is satisfied with that and nods.
Is this the usual happenstance amongst you good fellows?
Fortunately, yes.
I see. I'll bear that in mind.
If you wouldn't mind, when you stop feeling so sturdy, would you let me know?
Of course, I will let you know when I no longer feel sturdy.
Yeah, I may have something for that. You know, it's all about the balancing.
Lek lifts an eyebrow.
And as Dizzus will kind of walk away, just start mumbling to himself.
Well, now that we're done exchanging pleasantries and we have a plan, how about we make tracks to Brainchamber, yeah?
Sounds good.
All right. And Derek, he goes to unlock the door and opens it up, and he says, "Well, I'm glad we took the time to get to know each other and show my thanks for the great deed that you did for me back on Calvin's Cairn."
I tip my hat to him and say, the honor was all mine. Thank you.
And he makes a point to shake everyone's hand as you guys leave the building. You guys
Maybe we'll
make
give his hand a firm shake.
firm handshakes, everyone in the chat. So, with that, you guys start to exit the tavern and make your upward climb back up out of this dwarven valley, and you look back and glance around, and you see it's very beautifully done, but you guys could tell that there's an obvious food shortage here. It looks like, with what Derek had for breakfast and what, things that he touched on during that conversation is just, the cold has just decimated their ability to grow barley, wheat, and even anything for making more beer, and it's creating some sort of shortage. That's kind of touched on during that conversation as well, and you see with more clarity when you look closer to individual people, these dwarves, they look a little gaunt. Not full starvation mode, but dwarves are known to be a little bit more plump than what they actually are here. And you make your way up to the gate, and the guard there, he opens up the door and he says, "Thank you for not causing any trouble. It was a very quiet night. Caught us at a good time."
Andy nods and says, "Of course. I hope the materials help."
They will. Thank you.
Lek pipes up and says, "Is it usually not quiet?"
Well, there's a few times where there's disputes over what reserves are left, and it seems that everyone was amiable to the division of food that people had left or from the last exchange, so it went without conflict this time.
Will the materials enable you to get more food?
Oh, yes, they will. As long as there's need for a sword and a shield, we'll be able to procure enough provisions for some time.
Good.
Hey Sam, what's the does this little dwarven community have a name, or is it just the Dwarven Valley?
The Dwarven Valley is the actual name of this area.
Got it. Gonna hit that one right in the nose, huh? Got it.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So, you guys make your trek uphill or up through the mines, and you emerge and... Oh, wait. Someone said they wanted to buy clothes before they left, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes, that would be me.
So, that is pretty straightforward. Towards the gate, there's a small shop, and clothing outfitters and stuff is what they specialize in, and they happen to have something in his size. for 10 gold.
Well, that's perfect, because that's all the gold I have.
Oh no. And you put it on and you see that this just totally encapsulates you, and you look like basically an Eskimo, despite what the artwork looks like. It'd be quite boring if everyone was drawn with their winter clothing in hand. It'd just be faces.
Andy is going to pass him 5 gold and pay for half, so that she covers half of it.
Why, thank you. That's most kind of you, since you've only just met me.
She nods. Everyone has to eat. And DM question, did we, or I guess party off-table question, did we like divide up money that we came into at any point? Because I only have 21 or 26 gold total before I did that, and I feel like that's wrong. Is that around what everyone else has, or did I forget to add something?
I have. Well, some people have swindled money from other people.
Oh, well, those people don't answer.
So then no one but you can answer them.
Oh.
I've got even less than that.
Oh, okay. So I'm in a okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget to add something. Cool. Carry on.
Yeah, we're heading to get paid now, so
Sweet.
hopefully this will help.
Money, please.
Honey, please. All right. So, you guys emerge outside and you see the light of day. And you see the staunch wilderness ahead of you as you navigate yourselves to the southwest. And see on the horizon just the outskirts of Bryn Shander, its silhouette just faintly seen in the distance, in the foreground of a backdrop of mountains of the spine of the world. Who is leading the way?
I will.
All right.
I'll be up there with him.
Go ahead and give me survival check.
That would be an 18.
Very good. So you're able to, pretty plainly know the direction that you're supposed to be going with being able to see Bryn Shander. But you take caution in looking for tracks of any sort of beasts or creatures that might be lurking out in the wilderness. And so far, you just see the smooth, soft powder of the overnight snow that seems to have come down. Your journey starts. The crunching of snow beneath your feet become a very monotonous and repetitive sound. The wind whistling across the snowscape sometimes kicks up a dusting of snow into the air. Birds overhead quickly clinging to their trees and flying in bunches, and some not even peeking their heads out of their nests. But onwards you continue until the silhouette of Bryn Shander comes into view. You spend about 4 hours traveling in the wilderness, and so far no sign of trouble. Doesn't look like very many individuals come out this way. Every now and then you notice some tracks of a freshly migrated herd of elk that have passed through that you had missed by about 20 minutes. But all is calm. Very silent outside of the sound of your own footsteps. Until eventually you reach the northern gates of Bryn Shander.
Right on.
So, as you approach the gates, the guard standing at the post says, "State your business."
Yeah, we need to speak with Markham. We just completed a job for him.
Oh, right. Very good. You can find him in the usual place of Town Hall.
Thank you kindly.
And he opens up the gates, and you find yourselves inside. Where would you guys like to go, if not to the Town Hall first thing in the morning? Well, I say first thing in the morning, but at this point the sun is setting, with your travel taking about roughly 4 hours.
I would say straight to Town Hall if no one's opposed.
Yep.
The yays have it.
All right.
Yay!
Yay!
So, on your way to Town Hall, you find yourselves inside, and you see Markham sitting in his corner, puffing on his cob pipe. And he looks over at you all and says, "Well, that took a little bit more time than I had thought."
Yeah, a little bit. We ran into a couple delays, but we got it done.
Who's the culprit?
It looks like they were attacked by some sort of animal, possibly a yeti, not sure. But then the caravan itself got discovered by a group of goblins. But we got it back from them and delivered it. Here is the receipt. And I'll hand him the receipt.
All right, and he takes it from you and he sets it down on the table and he says, see, you have less of you and one new person to make up for it. My name's Sheriff Markham, and who are you? As he goes over to Lek with his hand extended.
My name is Lek Churlong, my good man. Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. I hope you know you have good company here. These people have helped us in a lot of ways, and we always try to show our appreciation and keep their opinions in mind when it comes to the local politics that go on here.
They've been good to me during the short time I've known them.
And Markham looks to the rest of you and he says, how fresh is he?
Oh, he's pretty fresh, I reckon.
Well, in any case, compensation is in order. Yes, the agreed upon price was 75 gold each, if my memory serves correctly.
Above table, I'm going to double check my notes on that. Because I do think I wrote that down.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay, very good. And Markham goes over to his little desk and opens up his chest and divides out 75 gold. Let's see. Was that 6 ways? And 6 pouches full of 75 gold are handed over to you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
He says, thanks again. You're surely helping us here, instigating trade and being able to arm ourselves when the time comes to fight anything that comes our way. We've learned many things since the Frost Giants of old.
And what have you learned, Sheriff?
Well, we learned that it takes about 5 of us to take down one of them if the Giants ever show their faces around here again, and just needed to expand our militia and have them in reserves and having equipment for everybody. We can take anything in a full frontal ground attack that comes our way.
I see. Has this been a problem recently?
Recently, no. But if I wanted to be honest with you, I think some towns are struggling a lot more than we are. And I think they may be coming to eat the larger towns, if you will. I heard about that caper that took place in East Haven. How some sort of device was stolen from them that could have supplied some sort of food for lots of people, and I take it they're not too happy about that. Maybe looking to militarize themselves, and might need to be ready.
We had heard about that, actually.
We walk a fine line in this winter. Norrell seems to take joy in us having to toe this line between order and chaos.
Right.
Well, if anything else pops up that we would require, I'll keep you guys in mind.
I appreciate it.
Oh, we do need one more thing. You forgot to pay Pointy.
Oh, of course. And he goes back to his chest and puts another bag together of 75, and he says, I trust you'll give this to him, right, Carcass?
Yes, I will make sure he gets his money.
All right. And Markham hands it over to you and doesn't think a thing about it. And he looks back to the group and he says, stay safe out there.
You too.
So, what would you guys like to do now?
Well, I will turn to the party as we start walking out of town hall and say, so, is anyone opposed to looking into what's going on in Goodmead next?
Not at all. I thought that was our plan.
Just making sure.
Well, shall we head to Goodmead in the morning? Seeing as how the sun has set.
Yeah, that works for me. How far of a travel is it to Goodmead from here, Sam?
About 7 hours.
Okay. So we'll have to do some of the travel in the dark either way, unless... which should be fine.
All right. Okay. So where to now? To the tavern?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will meet you all there. I have something important to go do. I must go look for Pointy now.
Carcass, would you like me to come with you?
Oh, if you would like to come, you can come. But I'm okay on my own. No one will harm me.
I'll come with you, Carcass.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, I have some business to attend to as well. I'll see you all at the tavern.
Bye, Carcass.
I will see you all again very soon, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right. And the rest of you headed towards the tavern. Besides
I'm
Lysander.
gonna turn to Lek, and I'm gonna say, I have some business to attend to too. But mine's just getting drunk, so I'm going straight to the tavern.
Ew.
Sounds like good business to me.
Well, why don't you join me, friend?
Don't mind if I do. Few things can warm my innards like good libations.
Let us not waste time.
All right.
We're off to drown our livers.
So, you guys break off and head out. Head to the tavern. Lysander off to... Where exactly are you going, Lysander, just for reference?
I'm gonna go and see if I can find a shield, actually.
Okay. You definitely come across a little shop along the way. And I assume you are looking at... You have entered Black Iron Armory. And there's an elf standing by, and he says, "Ah, welcome. You've come at a late night."
Indeed. It's something that I keep forgetting to do, but I have found need of. I would like a shield.
Sure, I have the best quality black iron here. A shield, that'll run about 23 gold.
Black iron, huh?
Yes.
May I have a look at it, please?
Of course. And he pulls it off the wall and lets you inspect it. Everything looks pretty sturdy. It feels like a normal shield. You'd like to roll investigation, you can.
Yeah, I was gonna say either investigation or history, because I've heard rumor that black iron isn't the best metal for weapons or shields. I'm not saying that out loud to him,
Sure.
by the way. So investigation then?
Yes.
That's a 4.
It feels a lot heavier than what normal shields are, and with that investigation, you actually see that it's thicker than most normal metal shields are. So that equals out, to why it's heavier. But you don't see any integrity flaws in this whatsoever. And the elf, he looks like, yes, we've earned a bit of a bad rap in the past, but we've doubled down on our material, and we ensure we uphold our name to a better standard.
I see. How much does this shield weigh above table?
You're probably looking at 15 pounds or so. Normally shields are like 5 to 7.
All right. Well, you've given me some thoughts to chew on, friend. I may be back in the morning. We'll see.
Very good. We open at 9.
Thank you. You have a good night.
You as well.
I'm going to head back to the tavern. Sam, I'm going to message you here in a minute.
Okay, sounds good. All right. And that brings us to Carcass and Andy, who have gone off to look for Pointy. Whereabouts would you like to look?
Well, If I am going to lead the way, I will just randomly walk the streets and periodically stop and go, Pointy, hello, best friend? And if I do not hear anyone, I will keep going.
Andy is just going to follow after Carcass, and she will, actively look around. She's not going to call out, but she's essentially, there for moral support because she assumes that, Pointy made off.
All right. And you start looking around town, wandering aimlessly, but you don't hear any voices in return. You don't hear Pointy calling out to you. Nothing of that sort. But you catch the eye of a tiefling that is in the area. Chris, would you like to describe your character?
Yes, of course. He has dark skin, white hair shaved at the sides, gold eyes, and one of his horns happens to be broken. He wears only the finest attire, and at his side is a rapier, sheathed, but easily accessible.
And you see this Minotaur wandering about town, calling out for something Pointy and looking around, followed by a human cleric who seems to be tailing him for the most part.
I'd raise my brow and smile for a moment before approaching and just say, "Oh, good day, friend. Is there something I might be able to assist you with?"
Oh, yes. Do you know where my best friend is?
Your best friend, you say? Please describe them to me. Or perhaps a name might be sufficient. I know
Andy,
quite a few people in these parts.
Andy pipes up and says, his name is Leon Ponte. And she will give him a physical description. He's, about this tall. He has longer brown hair. Usually wears it in a bun. He's a very slick sort of fellow.
DM, would that be the visage of anyone I would recognize at all?
Not particularly, no.
Oh, I do believe someone of that description wandered through here a few days ago, looking rather lost, to be honest. Although I kept to myself, I didn't necessarily ask where they were going. They had a few too many to drink and lost a few hands of cards, but I didn't ask too many questions.
I see. Do you know which direction he was headed?
Again, unfortunately, I didn't ask too many questions. So my memory is a little foggy, as it were. Although, I could be encouraged to remember.
Oh, I know what he means. And I will get out my great axe.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Sir, please. There's no need to spill any blood today.
Wait. She's gonna hold up her hand towards Carcass and say, let me.
Oh.
And she,
okay.
She's going to regard the tiefling once again and say, what is your price?
Truth be told, I've been in this frozen hellscape for far longer than I would like to be. So, let's call it 15 gold and a way out. Does that sound sufficient?
A way out to where?
Well, Cormier's a bit of a ways away, I would imagine. Guidance back there would be appreciated, but I don't imagine that's something you would be willing to do for free.
Off table, what's the name of your hometown Vega that we're going to?
It was good mead.
Andy will say, we're heading to Goodmead in the morning. That's all I can offer.
Ah, splendid. I suppose a change of scenery would be appreciated. If you do not mind me tagging along, I can make myself very useful.
She'll nod and say, tag along, 10 gold, and you trade us the information.
Silas would like to try and persuade Andy back to the original 15 by saying, "Look, I understand what I'm worth. I'd rather not be insulted. I can open a few doors for you if you wish."
I have no need of opened doors.
Very well. I understand when someone is as stubborn as my father. 10, as you wish.
Andy will nod and hand over 10 gold.
Silas will go ahead and pocket that immediately. DM, what's just a random town that is far away?
A random town that is far away, Long Saddle.
I do believe I heard a muttering of heading to Long Saddle. Uncertain why. Again, I didn't ask too many questions. But what my gifted ears were able to pick up, that sounded like where they were headed.
I see. And she'll look to Carcass and say, sounds like Leonfonte left of his own accord.
Oh. What is Carcass supposed to do?
Andy's face will kind of fall slightly on behalf of Carcass, and she'll reach out and pat his arm and say, we're still your friends, Carcass.
Oh, yes. You guys, you all might become my friends.
Of course we will.
Charming fellow like yourself, I imagine it's quite easy for you to make friends. Smart as a whip from the looks of it as well.
Andy kind of gives him a side eye, like a silent way of cautioning him not to mock her friend. And then she says, what is your name?
Silas Nouvelle of Cormier. And yours?
Andy. And she holds out a hand.
Silas stares down at the hand for a moment, hesitant before daintily reaching out and grabbing it. Not squeezing too hard. It's not going to get himself dirty.
Andy gives his hand a fairly firm shake and then relinquishes her grip and says, we're staying at the inn tonight and leaving in the morning.
Oh, very well. Perhaps we can become more acquainted over a round of drinks or maybe a fine game. Do you happen to play dragon chess?
DM question, is Dragon's Chess is that a high class game that Andy probably would have played?
I wouldn't say it's high class. It's well known though.
Oh, then she'll nod a little and say, sure, why not?
Wonderful. You look like a thinker yourself. Well, lead the way, by all means. I'll just take the rear, and perhaps keep some unsavoring individuals off your track.
Andy kind of squints at him as if unsure if he's got people tracking him or something, but she decides to shrug it off and nods, turning towards the tavern, and she'll sling her shield her family shield onto her back, and pat Carcass on the arm and say, "Are you ready to go back, Carcass?"
Oh. Yes, I guess I am ready to go.
Carcass, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling very hungry.
I'll get you some food, okay?
Okay. Do you know where Pointy and I sleep?
We'll get you a room.
Okay, because I do not have any money.
I'll cover you.
I just need someone to pay for the room. I have a blanket.
All right, Carcass. I'll pay for your room and for your dinner. Come on.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. And with that, she'll kind of guide him along back to the inn. She's being extra gentle with him because she feels bad for him.
DM above table question.
Yeah.
Would I by chance recognize the symbol on Andy's shield if there is a crest on it?
Does your shield have your crest on it?
Yes.
Okay, I would make a intelligence check.
Straight intelligence or like a history?
History might be a little bit more applicable. Oh yeah, you recognize it immediately.
I'd like to go ahead and look over to Andy for a moment and say, "Ah, the Renard family. Finally, a person of culture in these wastes."
Andy turns back with slight surprise in her expression, and then glances down at her shield and says, yeah, that's my name.
You are, being a daughter. Adriana. I think that's the name I've read before.
Yeah. Everyone just calls me Andy.
I am not everyone, Adriana. Right this way. Shall we? And from there, Silas will kind of pull out his lute and begin to strum a little.
Andy kind of heaves a sigh and takes a calming moment before following.
Well, hey there. That doesn't look like Pointy to me.
No, we didn't find Pointy. But this is Silas. He knew of where Pointy might have gone.
Yes. Buggered off to Long Saddle is what he told some others.
Well,
In exchange for that information, Silas would like to travel with us tomorrow on our journey.
very well. Pleasure to meet you.
The more the merrier, I suppose.
Are these all your servants, Adriana?
Sorry. No. No, we all work together.
That is good news. I was about to take issue with you entrapping one of your kin into servitude, one of the betters. And from there, Silas would like to walk over to the Tabaxi and offer a slight bow. Very, very slight, though. Silas Nouvelle, a pleasure to meet you.
She's very uncomfortable with us. Eclipse of the moon. Pleasure.
Wonderful. And the rest of you, what are your names?
I tip my hat to him. Bystander Blackburn.
Yeah, hey, I'm Vega.
Zizix is just going to keep about his business.
Lek steps forward and says, my name is Lek Churlong, but I have not been with this group very long myself.
Ah, so you're a tag-along like myself. Good. We have that in common.
Yes, I suppose that's at least something.
Adriana, who is the rude, short one who refused to address me.
Andy blinks a few times and then says, well, I suppose he'll tell you when he's ready. It's hardly my place to infringe upon his, decision not to introduce himself.
No. He will tell me now. Salus Nouvelle, first prince of Cormier. And who are you?
And Zizix keeps, he's going to turn to Ollie and start kind of tweaking him with a kind of a little screwdriver, tightening some nuts and bolts.
So wonderful of you to take it on mute.
Vega's gonna chuckle and say, "Oh man, sometimes we wish he was mute, but no, he's just being rude."
Shots fired.
He is very rude, in fact. This is kind of nice, actually.
To be fair, I said sometimes we wish he was mute. Sometimes I greatly enjoy the things he has to say.
Oh.
And Zizix will look up to Vega and say, yeah, I hate you too.
Oh, I don't believe I ever said that there, friend, but
Yes.
you are in a mood.
I feel like I'm already regretting my decision.
Lek leans in. Look on the bright side, friend. At least he hasn't asked you to drink any concoctions yet.
Give him any ideas.
Is that something they do here?
Apparently.
Not they.
Zizix will pipe up and go, I do believe you said you felt sturdy?
Yes. I didn't say it was a bad concoction. Just a surprise.
And he'll go back to tweaking Ollie.
Andy just sort of sighs and rubs her temple and turns to go to the bar.
Yeah, Vega's gonna go, that's a good call. I'm gonna get another drink myself.
Drink.
As he finishes whatever drink is already in front of him.
There's a nice ale.
Chris and Andy, just to give you a descriptive detail as to who Ollie is, he is a mechanical robot dog that has wings. I have a picture of him in the Discord. But just an FYI as to when I mention Ollie or anything like that, that's who that is.
Gotcha.
All right. So who is all going to the bar to get a drink? I've got Andy, Vega.
As well.
All right, Eclipse. Very good. So You guys get to the bar, and it's a very busy time, and the barmaid says, I'll be with you in a minute. You can just tell me what you want, and I'll bring it to you.
Whiskey. Please.
Fire water?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll have the same.
As will I.
All right, 3 fire water. I'll be right there. And she quickly scurries back down towards the end of the bar, handing off her ales and taking in coin, putting it down into the chest underneath, and all that good stuff. In your time at the bar, give me a perception check.
That's a 9 for Vega.
I got a 21 for Andy.
All right. Eclipse?
14 for me.
So you and Andy are going to pick up on a conversation at the bar. You catch a little bit of it, but the part that you did catch was 2 individuals telling a story, and verbatim what you heard was, "Did you see that weird comet fall out of the sky just the other month? Went down in the mountains south of 10 towns, not too far away. And since then, people around that area have been receiving, like, mental messages in a language they can't make out. I think the comet might have something to do with that. I bet you could find it easily enough, even in this weather, if someone wanted to go."
Andy kind of looks at the others to see if they also heard that.
Vega did
Eclipse
not.
will meet. Oh. Eclipse will meet her eyes and kind of nod, and look of disbelief is on her face.
And is that area close to where Vega's hometown is?
So south of 10 towns. Let me pull up the map here so I can be accurate with this. South of 10 towns is essentially the area overall, right? So you would be traveling in the wilderness. The nearest town to the south, is Dugan's Hole, which you guys have yet to visit. So with that being the nearest real city, and if it was on the south side of the 10 towns, that would be the place to go. The way to Goodmead is on the way. You would go to Goodmead first, and then Dugan's Hole past that.
Andy will lean over and speak to Eclipse and say that might be something to do after we visit Vega's home. It's in the same area.
Certainly sounds worth investigating.
She nods.
And quickly after that exchange, the barmaid comes back and she says, 3 fire waters, that's 9 silver.
Andy will hand her a gold.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
And she scurries back off and goes back to taking in more orders with the fresh group of what look like fishermen that just made their way inside.
Oh, Andy will also ask for a couple of helpings of food for Carcass.
Oh, yeah, it's knucklehead stew, if that's all right.
Sure. How much?
How many?
2 for him, and she points at Carcass. And I'll take one as well, and she'll look over at Vega and Eclipse and any of the others that are close enough and see who might be hungry.
Yeah, I'll take some as well. And you got the drinks, I'll get the food.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
And she is quickly doing math while she's also handing drinks over to someone else. She says, 18 silver.
All right, I'll give her 2 gold.
Very good. And she says, it'll be a minute. Once we get through this rush, I'll bring it right out to you.
Thank
Andy
you
will nod
kindly.
and say thank you, and she'll look over for Carcass. Is he close by?
I'm still standing over by Zizix.
Andy will kind of give him a wave and say, your food will be out soon, Carcass.
And I will just kind of look at her and then look back down at Zizix.
Andy sighs and kind of looks back at Eclipse and Vega and says, seems like Leon Fonte skipped town. He's pretty bummed.
It's very sad to watch, honestly.
Yeah. I was
Zizix
walking around yelling for him earlier. It was very sad.
Zizix sees Caucus's demeanor. He's gonna grab a pebble out of his pocket and make it smell like Leoponte. And I'm gonna hand that over to Caucus and say, he's always here. Just hold this. He'll be right around here.
Oh no. He has turned into a rock?
Yeah, it's just for safekeeping.
Okay, I will make sure to keep Pointy very safe. And I will put my bag down next to him and I will open it up and put him in a safe place.
And that's correct, as Carcass sets his bag down and opens it even ever so briefly to carefully place this pebble inside. It just reeks of rot and just unpleasant, stinging the nostrils. 60% of the time you'd puke every time.
And as soon as he goes to reach for the bag, Andy turns away and just kind of puts her nose on her wrist.
Am I close to Lysander right now?
Yeah, you certainly can be.
I lean over to Lysander. Can you smell anything?
I can.
Oh. I was about to say you're lucky, but I guess you're not so lucky either.
Yes. Well, misery loves company.
Ain't it the truth?
I'm gonna look over at him. Would you like a drink?
I'd never say no to a drink, friend.
Very good. I'm gonna turn to Silas. Silas, would you like a drink?
Yes, a wine would be wonderful.
A wine. Very good. Luck, what's your poison?
You know, I'll have the same.
Okay. I'm gonna make my way to the bar.
You make your way to the bar, and you see Andy and Eclipse, and all them. Vega is still at the bar as well, returning actually with their fire waters in hand. And you make your way, and the barmaid says, how can I help you?
Could I get 2 wines and an ale, please?
And she says, I'm sorry, what?
2 wines and an ale, please?
And she kind of looks over at you, Lysander. And she says, an ale and a... she starts laughing. And a wine? Would you like some fresh cheese with that? Perhaps on a cracker? with some fine chocolate to pair it with?
Question: does Zizix overhear the word chocolate?
Oh yeah. She said it loud enough because she was caught off guard.
Damn it.
Zizix is just gonna just stand up straight away up onto the chair and say, or not just say, but yell, "Do you have chocolate?"
And the barmaid proudly exclaims, "No! We don't have chocolate, nor do we have wine. We haven't had wine since we weren't able to trade with the South."
Zizix will just say, "Well, that's just too bad, because I have a whole pocket of gold just waiting for chocolate. You just missed out." And he'll sit back down and just stop pouting.
I turn back to the barmaid. Please, forgive my friend. I did not mean to make a scene.
Zizix will pipe up and say, you don't mess with a guy's emotions like that. So rude.
I'm gonna chuckle a little bit at it. What do you have?
We have ale and firewater until the mead shipment comes in, but mead is about as close as we ever get to wine these days, and nowadays, mead is harder to come by than... who knows what? Cragcat.
Well, I'll have 2 meads and a firewater then, please.
I just said we're out of mead!
I thought you said you were low on mead. Forgive me. 3 firewaters then.
Apologies. It's a very stressful evening. I'll get you 3 firewaters, and I'll give you a discount for my exclamations and my uncouthness.
I'd like to chime in and say, I'm sorry, did I hear you say that Cragcat is hard to come by?
We have more corpses than cragcats for those who go hunting for them.
Why? They're not that difficult to take out.
And a random patron speaks up and says, "I lost my brother to a cragcat. You saying he was weak?"
Zizix will pipe up and say, I think that's exactly what he's trying to say, sir.
They sound rather weak to me.
Andy stands up and says, no, that's not what he meant to say, right? And she's gonna look at Lysander. Or Vega.
That is not at all what I was trying to say, but I mean, if the rest of the party really wants to start a bar fight, then I mean,
Andy shakes her head.
I'm laughing the entire time. Like, I'm not trying to be defensive or anything.
How could you be laughing at my brother's
Speak up.
demise?
And Zizix is going to turn to Vega and say, "Are you saying that you're not a man of your word?"
Oh my god.
Not a man of my word. In what regard, friend?
I thought everything you said was apparently the truth.
What did I say that wasn't?
I'm not saying you didn't say anything that wasn't the truth.
Andy heaves a sigh and drinks her firewater in one sip.
Yeah, does the barmaid have my 3 firewaters ready yet?
At this point, yes.
What do I owe you, ma'am?
5 silver.
I'll give her a gold.
Thank you, that's very kind.
Will Zizix notice him giving her a gold for 3 firewaters?
Probably, since, attentions are kind of focused on the bar and the, everything going on around it.
Zizix is going to start muttering, for a gold for 3 firewaters? Man, I could get 10 glasses of chocolate milk for that. What kind of establishment is this?
I lean
gonna
over
finally-
to Lysander and say, "What's his deal with chocolate?"
Am I nearby?
Yeah, you both are.
What's his deal in general tonight? It sounds like he's trying to start a bar fight.
Is that a usual happenstance with you all?
No,
No.
it is not.
It is not.
They played with my emotions. It's been more than a few days since my last chocolate milk.
Would
I
you
just
like
had a
a-
dream about it.
Yeah, would you like a fireball to
tired
take your
of fish.
emotions away?
I'm so tired of fish. Carcass, do you have any meat?
No, I was hoping that you still had someone that we could eat.
Unfortunately, I don't. How would you feel if we go on a little excursion?
I will lean down very close to him. And what is an excursion?
And I'll lean very, very close to him and whisper, "We can go kill things."
Oh, yes, I like this very much.
How much of this does the rest of us hear?
Yeah.
Considering it was kind of mid-conversation, you guys being nearby, I would say Carcass roll stealth if you're whispering along with Zizix.
So, you know my stealth roll. Technically, I have disadvantage on stealth because of my armor. If I'm talking, does that also count for that?
I wouldn't say it applies, no.
Okay.
Mine is a 15.
Well, that's that one.
Everyone hears Zizix. A few of you hear Carcass, surprisingly. Let's see. Passive perception's over 15. We've got... Actually, I don't think... Let's see. Oh, no. Okay, so nobody hears Carcass, surprisingly enough.
All right, but we hear Z6. So I'm gonna walk back up to the table, and I'm gonna say, Z6, are you suggesting that you and Carcass go hunt people right now?
What? What do you take me for? Gosh, no. I'm just tired of fish. There's plenty of things out there besides, people.
Eclipse is gonna grumble into her firewater. I think of you as a cannibal is what I'm thinking of you, man.
Well, we've all seen the kind of meat that you and Carcass tend to enjoy, so I'm just checking.
You mean not fish? I mean,
Sure. That's what I mean.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I feel like I've missed something. Do one of these folk eat people?
Carcass will eat anything.
Carcass will eat anything, but he's not a people, so that's kind of okay.
I'm beginning to regret another decision.
Andy just looks generally exhausted.
Same.
So, I am going to hand Silas and Lek a firewater and say, sorry they didn't have wine. I'm sure you heard. But in any case, I raise my glass. Here's to new friends, new adventures. I'm going to turn to both Zizix and Carcass and say, and to good first impressions.
That's fucked.
I raise my glass and bolt it.
Yeah, Ziz is gonna look up at Lysanda and just with a blank face, like not really grasping what he's suggesting.
Of course.
Cyrus would like to cheers his glass but not take a drink.
All right, noted.
All right. Vega's gonna go back up to the bar, and whenever the barmaid comes back up, he's gonna say, "Hey, 3 fire waters was 9 silver, right?"
Yeah.
Okay. He's gonna hand her a gold and say, "Can I have 3, please?"
Yes. 1 second. And the rush at the bar is kind of subsided, and she quickly brings out 3 more fire waters for you.
I'm gonna drink 1 through my mouth while I drink 1 through my trunk, and then bring the other one back to the table.
What a
I was gonna say you have 1 more orifice left open if you wanted to.
Oh my god!
Gotta be efficient.
God.
A fire water in the ear is probably unpleasant.
Yeah, I wasn't referring to that, but
Yeah.
The next 4 hours.
What you're suggesting, sir,
Fucking dead.
Vega does not do in public.
fair.
Vega would have been a hit in Bard College.
Triple.
Oh, man. So, Vega, go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
I can do that.
Question, Vega. Can your trunk reach your ass?
That, sir, is none of your concern. And you got a 12 on that con save.
You're starting to feel it. I would say, particularly drinking through the trunk was a little bit more potent.
Yep, that was my hope.
You're definitely finding yourself start to slur a little bit.
Good. Then I'm gonna, with my last one in hand, I'm gonna say, all right, y'all. I'd love to say it's been a pleasure, but instead I'm gonna say good night. And I'm gonna down it and walk to my room.
All right. And you make your way down the hall, and which door do you open?
Oh wait, did we get rooms?
No. Which door do you open?
I guess if that's where I'm at. The first one I come to.
All right, go ahead and roll a D100 for me.
All right. Oh shit.
In the meantime, Andy looks at Eclipse and says, "Where the hell is he going?
to his room, I guess.
Did we get rooms?"
Heck no.
71.
71.
It's in for a surprise tonight.
You open the door and you see an empty room. Make a perception check at disadvantage.
I would love to. Oh my god.
What'd you do?
I rolled 2 19s. So
Aw.
that's a 22.
You see that this room is occupied, and you see a mound inside one of the beds. You don't see any hair or anything like that. It looks to be fully covered.
Okay, upon seeing this, I'll go, oh, this isn't my room. And then when I close the door, I'll go, wait, do I have a room? And I'll look back at the party. Are any of them looking at me?
Oh, Andy's
Yeah.
looking and she is smirking.
Yeah, Andy and Eclipse are the equivalent of drinking their tea right now, watching you.
Giggling. This
All
is
right,
so
then I'm gonna look at them and go, I don't have a room yet, do I?
no.
No, you don't.
That's cute.
Okay, and then I'll walk up to the bar and say, "Pardon me, ma'am. Can I have a room, please?"
Yes, 5 silver for the room for the night.
That's wonderful, and I will give her just that.
All right. You now have a room, and she tells you it's down the hall, last door on the right.
And that is where the fuck I'm going.
All right. Vega makes his way to bed as he drunkenly staggers down the hallway, kind of wall surfing with his trunk. His trunk is kind of dragging along the wall.
Dripping fire water on occasion.
Adriana, a question for you.
Hmm?
Does your party by chance happen to have only 7 brain cells between you, and do you simply lend them out to one another?
Andy sits up a little and stares him down. We do pretty well for ourselves, Silas.
Clearly. And from there, Silas would like to approach the gentleman whose brother was killed by a crag cat.
Yes. He says, "Yeah? What do you want?"
Well, I could not help but overhear as you were shouting that your brother met his demise by facing off against a rather fearsome opponent. I have a drink for you as, I guess, condolences. And I'll hand him over the firewater.
And he takes the firewater and he says, "That's mighty nice of you. I'll take that as an apology from the group that you're with, but to Braun." And he raises his glass slightly and knocks it back.
Yes, to Braun. Do you have a chance? Could I bend your ear for a moment?
I suppose it's the least I could do.
Wonderful. These crog cats, I've never quite seen one in person. How large would you say they are?
Some say they're as large as a horse. I heard the one that took my brother down was even bigger than that. It rivaled a bear, if I'd say so.
That's magnificent. And would you say many hunters would meet their end with a beast such as this? Or against a beast such as this?
In a one-on-one fight, I'd take the crag cat over the most proficient of trappers you could ever find. But it's not their size that's deadly. It's how quiet they are. They hide in those snow piles, and you can never tell whether it's a mound or if it's a fanged crag cat looking to pounce and find its next snack.
Yes, the snow can be quite tricky at times, and any beast that knows how to use it to its advantage is absolutely a fearsome foe. I would never hunt one myself, but I would assume there's probably good coin to be made in bringing one in.
Yeah, if you sell to the establishments, I'm sure you're going to make a decent amount of coin. But I think the real money is for just the people that are higher up on the totem pole, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yes, I suppose I understand what you mean. Don't get me wrong, those higher-ups can be a bit of a pain in the ass.
Oh, they chat my ass, man.
Would there be any other beasts that you think could fetch a good coin that folks around here wouldn't mind chewing upon?
Oh, I'd say if you found yourself a sizable bird, I bet someone would pay a pretty penny for a pretty copper for one of those essentially bird legs.
Intriguing. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so sorry, I did not get your name.
Ah, yes. My name's Brad. Brad and Braun, the Brad brothers.
Well, Brad, Please, my deepest condolences for your brother Braun. I do hope he rests well.
Yeah, me too. And your name?
Silas Nouvelle, but please do not hold that against me.
I don't know why I'd hold it against you, friend. I just met you.
Beautiful. Well, I'll be off.
And you make your way from the bar and back to the group, I assume?
Yeah. I'll just sit down next to Zizix and watch him work on Ollie a bit, just staring very at the little dog.
I'm gonna lean over at him as he makes his way back. Tell me, Silas, my drink not good enough for you?
I thought that was perfectly clear when you returned with something that wasn't what I requested. But no worries, you can always make it up to me in the next town.
Well, in case there's something wrong with your ears, I feel like everybody heard the barmaid say that they didn't have what you wanted.
My ears are perfectly functioning. But simply assuming that I would want something else is not the most intelligent thing you could have done, but no worries. I won't hold it against you.
Well, I wasn't going to come back empty-handed. Better a little fire water than nothing at all.
I suppose you're right. Perhaps the next round will be on me. Perhaps.
Perhaps.
All right. Anything else you guys would like to do before procuring more rooms?
Zizix is going to turn to Carcass and say, Carcass, how would you like to go for a little hunt? Get some real food.
Yes, I like that. Should we ask these new people, Silly and Shuro, to go with us?
If we're hunting a herd, I wouldn't mind.
Sure. That would allow me to observe a little.
Okay. Hey, Silly, Churro, would you two like to hunt with us?
What are we hunting?
Oh, I do not know, but Styx will know.
Just something a little different than fish.
I suppose there's no harm in it.
I'm not very tired, so I could do with a little exercise.
Is this conversation happening close to Andy?
Yeah, I assume this is happening within the group.
Andy says, I'll come along.
I'll join you.
Well, quickly went from a 2-person to a 6-person.
I gotta keep my eye on you guys.
7, is it?
Yep.
Oh, of course, we've got Count Ollie, don't we?
And don't forget about Pointy, he's in my bag.
Oh, of course, I can't forget him. So, Zizix will go up to the bartender and say, "Excuse me, where could we find some wildlife around here?"
Well, my money's on outside the walls.
Could you be a little bit more specific?
Honestly, I wouldn't know. You might try to find someone who's more knowledgeable about hunting.
Such as?
Well, most trappers seem to be wearing a lot of fur, and they seem to be the burly sort. I would search one of them out and ask them.
Okay, so you don't know. Okay, great. Thank you. Ziz will turn around and see if he can see any of the burly, furry type that the bartender mentioned in the tavern.
Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check.
That'd be a 25.
Yeah, you definitely spot someone that fits that description.
And then Zizix will approach with Ollie by his side.
Alright. And man looks to you and looks to Ollie, and he says, "Evening."
Good evening, sir. I was wondering if you knew where I could go hunting.
He says, well, kind of hunting that I'm used to doing is trapping. I have my spots that I set up my traps, and I just check them in the morning and see what the nighttime would caught for me. What kind of hunting are you looking at doing?
Oh, maybe just some easy stuff like some deer, maybe a crag cat or two. You know, I've got my my little buddy here that I need to train up. And Zizix will kind of point to Ollie, and Ollie will just balk in kind of chorus.
Alright, well, I can't say that I'm the best, but I'd be happy to show you around and kind of show you where I see most of the tracks in the morning when I'm looking for my traps.
So, we can't go now?
Oh, we can go now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry if
Sorry,
I gave the wrong impression.
I misunderstood. I thought you meant in the morning.
No, I check my traps in the morning, but I can show you where I see most of the tracks in the morning when I'm out.
I see. Well, for your troubles, how does a gold sound?
That sounds plenty. Thank you.
Yeah. And Zizix will pull out a gold coin and hand it over to him.
All right. Whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and head out.
Just to let you know, I do have some companions that would like to come along with.
Ah, I see.
You know, don't be surprised if the big guy gets a little crazy. He has some energy he needs to burn off too.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being forthcoming. All right. I'll take your word for that. Normally, when people like me are taken outside the walls by a large group of people, they end up usually in a snow pit, face down.
Oh, well, if you feel comfortable telling someone where you're going, by all means.
All right. And he's gonna get up and head to the bar and let the barmaid know. He scribbles down some sort of note. And he leaves it with her. And he comes back to the group and says, all right, I feel better about this, so I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Well, let's go. And Zizix will motion to Caucus and to follow.
All right. And you guys start heading out of the tavern, I assume?
I would make
Yep.
sure that I have Caucus's attention.
Yes, I will follow him.
All right. So, this trapper, whose name you guys did not ask for yet, is taking you outside of the north gate, which is fairly close to the tavern, and you guys start to hit the trail. You're heading north. Once you reach the trail a little bit, he says, "All right, well, this is about where I head off and head off road, as it were," and starts walking to the north, traversing in his snowshoes this very heavy snow. The weather seems to be pretty mild at the moment. No additional snowfall coming down. So any tracks that were made fresh are going to be quite visible, he points out. And you guys make your way off-road for about 10-15 minutes. He says, "All right, I'll look over here on that hill. I have a trap that's set off to the side about, 30 feet or so from this hill. They usually don't spot it. On the other side, I usually see some elk track coming through."
Elk could feed a good many people.
It could. It's not the most delicious meat, but it's not fish, which is easiest and it's the most accessible meat around here and cheap. But you guys want to take a stab at it? Try and encroach upon the hilltop and see what we can see from down below. I'd suggest all torches that we have be put out before we make this ascent, as they are very sensitive to light.
Okay, sounds good to me.
All right. So, I would like everyone to make a stealth check.
Five.
5. Fantastic.
Thought I would, clap while I was walking.
12.
16 for Zizix.
Mine's
Okay.
11.
All right.
18 for Lysander.
Carcass is at 24.
Damn.
He's tippy-toeing, man.
Silas.
Hippie hoofing.
Guess
Tippy
I
hoofing.
passed gas as well, perhaps.
Oh, man.
So noble, the half elf.
So, with that, collectively, some of you are a little bit more louder than others in some regards. But you guys make your way up to the top of the hill, and the trapper, he speaks up. He says, "All right, now we gotta listen. We gotta rely. I can't see in the dark very well, but they can see better. We gotta rely on our hearing." I'd like everyone to make a perception check.
Three.
I got a 14 for Andy.
16 for Lysander.
16 for Silas.
Yeah, that was a 3 for Lek.
And Carcass has an 8.
10 for Zizix.
All right. So, Silas and Lysander, you hear the faint footsteps of something. Then you hear a few more. and it doesn't seem like that the trapper has caught on to it either. Everyone else is kind of just listening intently, not reacting to any sounds that they hear that you guys have obviously heard.
How far away does it sound like it is?
Hard to say, but you would think maybe 50 feet out, maybe 100.
I'm gonna whisper very quietly. Does anybody else hear that?
Yes, I do.
I can just hear myself breathing.
Then kindly do us a favor and stop for a little while.
Sure thing.
I'm gonna point in the direction the sound came from, wherever that may be. Say, south, you said?
No, I just said uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Let's see. It's coming from over there.
And the trapper says, all right. Now we gotta do our best to stay quiet coming down this hill and close the distance. I would like everyone to roll a new stealth check.
12 for Lek.
I got a 3.
I got a 10.
That's a 4 for Silas.
Oh, 7 for Zizix.
And I only got the 7.
So, as you're starting to come down this hill, Andy actually bumps into Silas on the way down, and causing them to shuffle a little bit to keep balance and not fall flat.
Would you kindly walk on your own feet?
Sorry.
And as you start to make your way down, noises stop. You don't hear it anymore. What would you guys like to do?
The nerve of you anyway, Reynard. I thought you were taught to walk with a book on your head. I thought you'd be a bit more graceful.
Andy stares at him, but she does not grace that with a response.
Lek asks the trapper, "What do elk like to eat in these parts?"
And he replies back very quietly, honestly, it's anything that's green. Any sort of foliage or berries or anything vegetable. We'll eat it. Sparse enough as it is.
All right. Somebody tell me a plant, any plant you think might grow around here. I'm not from here, so you ought to help me out. Just tell me a plant.
Andy's gonna look at Vega. He's the druid.
Oh wait, Vega's asleep.
Here, we're
Oh,
asleep.
freak! I forgot about that. Off the top of her head, then would Andy know of any plants that are local?
Yeah, you could think of a couple. One that comes to mind is the basic cranberry.
Cranberry.
Okay. I cast Prestidigitation and make the smell of cranberries in our area.
Okay, very good. Let's see.
Let's
All right.
see if that will help our cause.
Cast Prestidigitation, and the aroma sets up around you, and you smell cranberries. And fortunately, the wind is at your backs and seems to project the smell forward. As you wait and you listen, you don't pick up on any movement.
I would like to cast Primeval Awareness.
Okay. What does that do again?
It's to sense whether there are any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead present within 1 mile of me or within up to 6 miles if I'm in my favorite terrain. We're in the forest, right?
No, you're in the tundra.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah, so it's just 1 mile.
So you would pick up on a dragon, you would pick up on some fae, celestial, elemental, and no undead at this point.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to everybody and say, I don't know where the sound of those footsteps have gone off to, but I can tell you, we're not completely alone out here.
I'll just remind you that a mile radius is quite large.
Right, it is. Just want to make everybody aware of that. Stay vigilant.
Yeah.
So, after another couple of minutes of waiting, the trapper says, I don't know if I just lost sound of it with the sound of our own footsteps, but not sure anything's here anymore. I don't hear anything moving. Maybe we should look for tracks and see if we can follow them.
That's a very good idea.
He says, all right, pull out your torches.
And we'll do so.
I have dark vision, so I'm guessing I don't probably use a torch.
So dark vision would be like you're looking into like pitch black darkness. Everything would be like candlelight. So there's still like you see detail, but see detail in the form of like vague silhouetted outlines that you can tell what things are from a distance. So you would still use a torch in a sense for some locations, but it's not totally necessary.
Gotcha.
So as you guys some of you start pulling out torches and kind of looking around, give me a survival check. Tracks.
Got a 13 for Andy.
14 for Lek, not to outdo.
Lysander
7 for Silas.
also got a 13.
Carcass with an 8.
Right. So Zizix, you got a 16. Okay. So you guys head down into the downhill slope. You start looking around and trying to pinpoint any tracks. And let's see, Lek, Andy, and Lysander. What did you roll?
14.
You would also find some tracks as well. You find these look like resemblance of a cat print in the area. Find a couple of different sets. They're quite large.
All right.
Excuse me.
Then I guess we will follow them.
Zizix, as you start to approach the tracks, you find one inconsistency. You see that underneath this cat paw print, find a humanoid outline. And you can kind of surmise from this tracking that this fresh footstep covered by this cat paw print are both very fresh.
Zizix will call over Lysander. And, hey Lysander, does this look a little bit fresh?
I walk over and look down. Yes, I would say that it does look fresh.
And the trapper starts to make his way over to you and he says, wait, what did you guys find?
Do you?
Zizix will just point to the print.
Do you recognize this track?
He says, oh no. And he looks over to the left, towards the direction you guys were moving, with his torch up, and he says, torch is out! But before he can get the out of his mouth, catches an arrow to the throat.
Is it healable?
Let's see what damage is. He's going to take 10 points of piercing damage, and that will down him. But you see him writhing on the ground, and he's gargling in his own blood that has started to mass inside of his vocal cord area and his throat. But you can hear him mutter the words out, "Barbarians!"
Andy's gonna hurry over to him and break off the end of the arrow, so that she can move it through without damaging further, and then heal him.
Before Andy actually finishes taking the arrow out, Zizix is going to jam a potion down his throat.
What are you doing?
I'm helping him.
What potion did you give him?
Are you making him sturdy?
It's a potion of healing.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Andy looks relieved and then nods at Zizix and says, "Thanks."
I would like everyone at this time to roll initiative.
So he gets healed for 11 damage.
Silas rolled an 8.
Natural 20 for Lex, so 22.
1 second here, I gotta get this set up. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Vega is not with you. Alright. Andy, what did you get?
I got a 15.
Carcass?
A 9.
Eclipse?
She's sleeping.
She's...
Oh, I'm not here.
Alright, so that. Zizix.
Nat 20 with a 23 total.
3 total. Lysander.
12.
Lecture long.
Nat 20, 22 total.
And Silas.
8.
All right. That brings us to Zizix is up first.
The first thing Zizix is going to do is start screaming and howling. Oh God, they're gonna kill me! And he's going to kind of run to where Caucus is, wherever he may be. I assume within 30 feet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look to see where the arrow came from.
All right, go ahead and make a insight check.
Is it 12?
So you can tell from where the guy was standing and where his neck is or where the arrow went in through his neck. You look in the general direction that is off to your right if you're looking out into the darkness. Did you guys, I assume, put your torches out when he said so? Or did you not?
I probably would have.
Okay.
I would have too.
Jamesies.
Right. So, with your dark vision, you're not able to see anything in the immediate vicinity out in that direction.
Okay, so then I will, in my panic, not being able to see where things are at, going to just shoot a firebolt in that general direction.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll to attack at disadvantage.
That would be a 9.
All right, and then roll a D. Let's roll a D100.
$79.
79. So the direction of your firebolt actually illuminates a lot of the area around, and you count 2 barbarians off in the distance just for a brief moment before the firebolt pitters out after 30 feet. Look to be about 40 feet away.
Okay, and then kind of as a free action, going to command Ollie to take flight and attack in that area after seeing, the barbarians.
Mm-hmm.
So he would move 30 feet towards them, up in the air kind of thing. So I assume probably 20 feet closer after he goes up into the air.
Okay.
And then use his force attack or force strike, which has a 30 feet range. So would that be in range?
Yeah, it would be in range. Does he have blind sight or dark vision as well?
Yeah, he has dark vision.
Okay. He can go ahead and roll to attack as he sees a barbarian that is draped in what looks like tiger skin.
That would be an 8.
That will miss. Anything else?
He will just continue to cower behind Caucus.
Next up is Lek.
I will cast Blade Ward on myself.
Okay.
And I will walk. How far away am I currently from the two barbarians?
From the illumination provided by Zizix, you'd say about 50 feet away.
Okay, and can I still see where they were?
Dark vision's what? Good out for about 60 feet?
60 feet.
So yeah, you would have the faint outline of these individuals off into the snow.
Okay. Then I will walk. Let's see. 20 feet, and then forward towards them, and then stop, and that will be it for me.
All right. Next up, it's Andy.
I'm going to. How far am I from the closest?
50
Barbarian.
feet, roughly.
All right. Then I'm just gonna do a dash and get there. Warhammer drawn, but I can't take an action.
All right. Do you have dark vision?
No.
Okay. But you saw where they were, and you start dashing into that direction.
Right.
All right. Sounds good. Bonus action, anything?
I don't think I can unless I use my action to attack. Let me double check. Yeah, in order to use my War Priest feat or bonus action, I have to use the attack action in order to take it as a bonus action.
Gotcha.
So I cannot use that.
All right. Next up, barbarians. And one of them is going to do their best to attack Andy. That is going to be a miss as they swing wildly, and you hear the cutting of the air as their great axe just whiffs over to the side of you. You hear them shouting in anger. This one, the next one that goes up, is going to join in, and you hear him let out a primal cry before he goes to attack, as he is attacking recklessly. That's going to be a 10 to hit.
And that's directed at me?
Yep.
That's gonna miss.
All right. Now 2 more act on this same initiative, because I guess D&D Beyond wanted to roll all 4 of them at the same time. Okay. With that, we're going to have arrows shot from these 2. They are going to be targeting... It's going to be... they're going to be targeting Ollie up above, who they still cannot see. That is going to be a 15 against his AC.
Well, that will hit.
Right? That is... Write this out. Help. That's 10 points of damage. Shit.
Well, he's down.
Oh no. And then the second set of arrows is going to go towards... It's going to be... Carcass. That's going to be a 13 to hit.
Oh, that will not hit Carcass.
That will miss. And you hear the phew of the arrow slip past you just about 5 feet away. That brings us to Lysander.
All right. Can I see any of them? I do not have dark vision.
At the moment, no.
But I saw the direction that they were shooting from.
Yes.
Then I'm going to shoot my crossbow blindly into the dark.
All right. Go ahead and roll at disadvantage.
I rolled a 10 both times.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I thought so.
Anything else?
I'm going to rush over and stand between Zizix, Ollie, and the wave of possible arrows.
So Ollie is about 20 feet ahead, and he's... you heard the sound of him falling into the snow.
Oh, he dashed out from us, you're saying?
Yeah, he took flight.
Okay. Did I see where he went down then?
No, you just heard it. You heard him let out a little yelp, and then poof, as he fell into the snow later.
So Sam, just a question.
Yeah.
So Ollie is considered a construct. So does it have like death saving throws or anything, or once he's down, like that's it?
What do you mean as far as like being able to? Because eventually you'd have to resummon him, right? Is essentially what it is.
Technically, yeah, kind of a thing. So I don't know if like at this point he's gone, or if I get like death saving throws to get him back up.
I see.
You know what I mean?
I would say he is not functional at the moment. It didn't double his HP, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, Lysander's a construct, right? And he has saving throws. So, as long as it didn't double his HP, I'll give him the ability to be brought back up.
Okay.
If that's the angle that you're pursuing, and you'd roll those death saving throws on your turn.
Sounds good.
All right. Was that it, Lysander?
Before all this happened, you said that we had come down a hill.
Yes.
How big is this hill? How tall is it?
The hill's probably 20 feet high.
You're right at the bottom of it, correct?
You guys are at the bottom, yes.
I'm going to turn to everybody and say, we need to get to the top of the hill right now. Follow me. And I'm going to run up there.
All right. And you start to turn back and make your way up with the rest of your movement.
Yeah.
Next up is Carcass.
I would just like to stand here next to Styx, because I do not want him to get hurt.
Okay.
But
Is that it?
yes, I don't want to try and kill them yet.
Okay. That brings us to Silas.
And you say they are about 50 feet away, correct?
Correct.
Then I'd like to take out my my lute, strum a few notes, and go invisible.
Okay.
And then I'd like to use my 30 feet of movement to get a little closer to him.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make a
Unfortunately,
stealth
that's
check
my turn.
at advantage.
Unfortunately, with advantage, that's only an 8.
You seem to continue playing your lute a little bit as you're going by, but it doesn't seem to be getting any reaction from the barbarians at the moment either.
That's fair. That's my turn.
That brings us back to the top with Zizix. Make
Oh,
a
and
death saving
Zizix
throw.
is in frantic mode. He's gonna scream out, "Ollie, no!" And he's gonna run straight towards Ollie.
All right. Go ahead and make a perception check to try to pinpoint him.
It's 11. That was a 19, and then it slow rolled over to a 9.
Oh, don't you hate it? All right. So next, did you make that death saving throw for Ollie?
I did not. One second.
Flat 20. 16, one success. All right. So, with that, you scurry and try to run your way towards where you thought you saw Ollie fall. But it looks like there are a few holes around here that look like it might have been it, and you're not sure exactly which one. Seems to be two different ones between within range of your movement. Roll a D100 to see which one you go to.
It's 48.
You go over to the first crater in the snow that you find, and you don't see Ollie inside.
How much movement speed would that have taken?
You'd probably have about 5 foot of movement to start making your way towards the next crater.
Okay, I'll move that 5 feet closer.
Mhm.
And not seeing him in the first hole, Zizix is mad. He's gonna start firing stuff.
All right.
So he is going to unleash another firebolt.
All right. And you can see these guys within range at this point. So go ahead and roll your attack normally.
Yeah, 22.
That's absolutely going to hit.
That's 9 damage.
Hey, very good. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Brings us to Lek.
So I'm like 30 feet away since last time. How many barbarians can I see?
You count 4.
And was only one of them hit, I'm assuming, by Zizix?
Yes, you see the firebolt going out and striking one of them and kind of quickly catching their garb aflame briefly before it's kind of patted out.
And I'm gathering 2 have bows and 2 have melee weapons.
That's correct.
And one more question. Was one of the melee barbarians hit?
Yes, that was one of them.
I'm going to look at the barbarian, the melee barbarian.
Sorry, I think I dropped for a second.
Is that right?
You guys hear
I
me?
did.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just casting Hex for my bonus action on
Okay.
the barbarian who is melee, who hasn't been hit yet.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to fire good old Eldritch Blast at him.
All right, roll your attack. That absolutely will hit. Roll damage.
Okay, that's 7, and then I'll add my necrotic onto there, which is 6 more, so math is hard. 13.
Very nice.
And that will conclude my turn.
All right. That was targeting the one that was already damaged, right?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. Very good. Next up is Andy.
All right. I'm gonna go for the closest one to me,
Okay.
and I'm going to attack with my warhammer.
All right. You can roll normally as this one tried to attack recklessly. So it gives you advantage, but having no sight of it, that makes it a flat roll.
Oh, apologies, Sam. For Hex, that one has disadvantage for strength checks now.
Okay, thank you.
That's a 17.
That will hit. Roll damage.
4 damage.
That's something.
Yeah, and then it sat on 8 and then rolled over to 2, and I was like, motherfucker. So I'm gonna do my war priest thing. I can use it when I take the attack action 4 times per long rest. So I'm gonna make another weapon attack as a bonus action, and I'm gonna use the same thing.
Go for it.
That's a natural 18, so 22.
That will hit.
5 damage this time.
Very nice. Anything else?
That is all I can do.
All right. And that barbarian that you just struck is going to return an attack with its great axe, letting out a primal scream, having taken damage and is visibly bleeding from the illuminations of the light cast from the spells that have gone on around you. That is a 9 to hit.
That misses.
Right. And his friend is also going to take another swing at you, also attacking recklessly. That is a 16 to hit.
That also misses.
Darkness proving to be a detriment to both sides in this encounter as both great axe swings loose at the same time actually clang against each other in their swings, and the sound of the metal on metal contact rings throughout the area. The next two aim their longbows in the direction of Carcass. First one misses wildly with a 7. Second one takes aim at Lek. That is going to probably hit with that is a 20, not natural.
Oh yeah, yep. That'll do it.
And that's going to be that's only 5 points of damage.
Okay.
That brings us to Lysander.
Okay, so from the top of the hill, do I have a better vantage point? I see them illuminated by the moonlight, anything like that?
No, they wouldn't be super illuminated more by the moonlight at all. You would catch flashes of them with the spells being cast as you made your way back up the hill. But it's still a crapshoot firing on this range that it was down below.
Shit. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and try again from where I saw they were hit, just shoot in that direction.
All right, go for it.
Is that also a disadvantage?
Yes.
I got a 12.
That unfortunately just missed.
Okay.
Anything else?
Did anybody else join me at the top of the hill?
I don't believe anyone else did.
No one listened.
Cool. Then I'm gonna yell at everybody, get up here, please, now. That's it.
That brings us to Carcass. So you
I'm
saw.
going to run out actually after Styx.
Yep. What would you like to do once you get there?
I will yell at him as I'm running. What are we running out here for?
Zizix will reply, I gotta find Ollie.
Okay, I will try and help him find Ollie.
Right. Go ahead and make a perception check.
That is a 4.
You are not able to find Ollie.
Okay, I will just yell to him, I don't know where he is.
Whoa, I need to keep looking.
Okay, I will keep looking. And I will just end my turn there.
All right. That brings us to Silas.
Yes, I'd like to move as much or as far as I can. Is there a way I can get them all within 15 feet of me?
Yeah, they are clustered together that close.
Perfect. So I'd like to go ahead and use my movement to get them all clustered in front of me. And then I'd like to cast Thunder Wave at 3rd level.
Okay.
Sorry, 2nd level. Apologies.
No worries. Go ahead and let's see. Thunder Wave.
They would need to make a Constitution saving throw of 14.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we got 1 failure, 1 save. Another failure. Another save. So, the 2 melee, they fail their save and they are knocked. Go ahead and roll damage.
Yes, I rolled a 9, so they would take the full 9 damage and be knocked 10 feet, whereas those who succeeded would take half, which would be 4 or 5, depending on what you rule it.
Yep, round down. So, with that, I need Andy to make a Constitution saving throw.
I critted, nat 20, so 23.
Very nice. So you take 4 damage from this thunder wave just booming around you.
Okay.
It would also cause my invisibility to drop, so I'm quite literally there with my pants down, so to speak.
9, 4, and 4 damage. Very nice. Anything else?
What's your rules on spells and such for bonus actions?
If you used a spell slot, your bonus action has to be a cantrip. Or vice versa.
Understood.
Your standard action
Then
needs to be a
there's-
cantrip if your bonus action is a spell slot.
Understood. Then that's all I can do, unless I can use a bonus action to kind of flip the bird.
That's a free action.
Perfect.
Back to the top with Zizix.
Alright, I'm gonna keep looking for Ollie. Oh wait, I forgot to make a death save last time.
No, you did.
Oh, I did? Okay.
Yeah, it's saved.
That was 11 for him.
That's another save.
So I will keep looking for him. I guess go to the next hall, I guess.
Yep. You make your way over there and you peer in and you see Ollie sitting, laying unconscious inside.
Okay. I'm going to reach down and touch him, and I'm going to cast Mending.
That just puts back together the broken pieces and doesn't give him hit points, right?
Because he is a homunculus construct, Mending actually heals him for 2d6.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
So that's 9, so he's up to full.
Very nice. Anything else?
I'm just gonna bend down and hug him as he's like kind of coming to. And that's it.
Okay. Next up is Lek.
I'm going to cast Eldritch Blast on the barbarian I hexed last time.
Yep.
Uh, 17.
That absolutely will hit.
Okay. And then 10 plus 6 necrotic is 16 damage.
Very nice.
And
Anything
my Eldritch
else?
Blast is a bitch.
Yeah, it's very good.
Tell Des that.
And he's obviously still alive and healthy, correct?
Yeah, healthy is stretch. He does not look good.
Okay. Then that will be it.
All right. Andy.
Do I still have the 2 right up on me?
Yes.
Okay.
One of them just got pelted with an Eldritch Blast. Oh, I'm sorry. No, they're 10 foot back. They both got pushed away.
All right, I'll move forward to hit the one I had attacked before.
Yep.
And I'm attacking with my Warhammer. I assume it's just regular attack again.
Yes, because they were reckless.
Oof, that's a 7.
That will miss, unfortunately.
All right, bonus action. I will do it again.
Okay.
And that is a 19.
That is not a critical hit. That's a normal hit. Thank you. Go ahead and roll damage.
It's going to be 8 damage.
Very nice. So as you swing into the darkness with your warhammer, I'm going to go ahead and have you describe your fatality.
Andy is essentially aiming for the chest because it's the biggest target. So she will swing wide on her first, and the second, when she comes back around, is just going to slam straight into the heart of, like, the spiky part of her warhammer will slam right into the heart of the barbarian.
Very nice. So you swing and you miss initially, and then like a good tennis swing with the backhand, right into the chest. Very nice. Caves in any light armor that he was wearing, and you feel the crackling of his ribs just crumble under the weight of your swing.
And Andy will yank out her warhammer and turn to look at the next one, like she's fucking ready.
And speaking of the next one, he looks to you, and he looks to his comrade on the ground, and he tries to grab him by the hand, and he yells, "Go! Go!" And he's going to try and pull his friend with him. Would you like to make an opportunity attack?
He's obviously retreating, correct?
That's what it looks like to you.
Then Andy's going to shrug and turn to look, see if she could see how her other party members are doing.
Okay. So, off the back, sliding barbarian that is down, drops 2 large cragcat paws that have sticks kind of driven into the back of them. And you look back to get a gauge on where the rest of the party is, and you see Zizix is down over by some sort of crater where assumingly Ollie had fallen. Carcass is standing nearby. You see Silas standing just but 10, 15 feet away from you, with his middle finger up in the air towards the retreating barbarians. You see Lek coming in closer, drawing near with his tome in hand and staff pointed in the direction of the retreating barbarians. And that's what you can see at this point. It looks like Zizix needs some help from your point of view at the moment.
If that's the case, then Andy's going to start towards the Zizix, and she'll use her movement to go towards him.
All right. But I think that is going to be where we will end for tonight and pick this up again next week. All right.
All right.
Very good.
Good session, everybody.
Yeah.
That was enjoyable.
Yeah, and Chris, Andy, welcome aboard. Again. Hope you had fun with it.
Thank you.
Ahoy mateys, if you will.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, the parts of that Vega was conscious for were really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry you guys kind of got left behind on this trip, on this little excursion.
Oh, it's fine. I didn't know they were gonna go hunting, but getting drunk and passing out seemed like the character move for Vega at the moment.
Most
I'll
definitely.
babysit him.
Well, in any case, thanks everyone for sticking around. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you missed any part of it, you can catch it on YouTube tomorrow afternoon. If you haven't already, hit the follow button. If you enjoyed the show, we'll be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central. Be sure to be here and join us for the next episode of Rime the Frost Maiden. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Farewell.